Okay, people. So this is the beginning of my day. See these grapevines? Just bush right up. Anyway, I can see the potatoes are poking through. Right. I have to get up in here and do you see how that morning glory starts to just go crazy, people? Right? Look at this. There's that marrow. I want to start cutting in there. I'm going to try and get in here today and get a little patch of ground under the tarp ready for some beans. But you can quickly see how fast these weeds just take over everything. Right? This right here, this bushy thing in the middle is a leaf that you can use for tea for your chest. But you can see. So anyway, I'm coming in here later on. That's not where I'm going to start though. I'm going to be starting in the back. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to the store first. Right? And get some smokes. As you can see, it's cold outside. Can you see? It's, I don't know, 10 after 9 in the morning. May 26, 2000 and... What do you think? Anyway, May 26, 2021. I'm walking, I want to show you something. Right, with all these trucks going back and forth, rumbling the road, tearing up the alleys to lay in pipes, and just one there, right, planning another one over there. In terms of buildings, right? That black walnut that I pulled from my freezer from 2017, I'll show you the building just to remind you of where those walnuts came from. To which, for whatever reason, oh, it looks like, oh no, the signs are still up here. Just, I'll show you. Look. No trade parking due to erosion of the boulevard. Okay? It's more than the erosion, people. They're changing the foundation of the rock, I told you. Right? Now, the thing about houses like mine, they have different wood structure compared to what these houses. Remember that? That was the little house I had. The one where the mutiny was at. Look at it now. Okay? I mean, this isn't even a house. Okay? I don't know what kind of house that is, but it goes all the way down to the fence line. And there's those walnut trees. Remember? Andre and I? I can see they widen the lanes here. Oh yeah, really widen the lanes. Look at this. They took out the sidewalk, people. They took out the sidewalk and they brought it into here. And this is gonna be one ass busy fucking road now. They're working on the lanes right now. Do you see this? Right? This is why Matilda lives in my yard and feels safe, because this is traumatizing for her, right? They took down the walnut trees, the English walnut tree, the black walnut tree, the white oak trees with the acorns, several of them. There was another acorn tree of some kind, I don't know what name it was, but it was related to the acorn family. We got a little backhoe coming. And I'm like, just chugging along with my work boots on, people. Do you see my work boots? I got my work boots on. Do you see my... I'm not rushing, lady. I got a long day outside. You're not the only one in the cold weather working. See what I got on? I got my man shoes on. Hey, looking at my shoes. Right. I feel so sorry for these workers with their masks. I don't know how you can work with a mask on. Do you got glasses?
Only when people come by me that are too
Oh, there's another fella here that has been here forever, right? And he puts on that plastic thing. Oh, I feel so sorry for you people. I really do.
You have an awesome day.
Yeah, okay. There is one English walnut right there. You can see it right there. Okay? That's the only one they left standing out of that whole lot. Out of that whole lot, people. Right? As they're planning to wipe out more of these trees. The whole fucking thing. Because they don't replace them. Right now, I got mine growing. They're all leafy back there. So this weekend, well, as I'm not even on the weekend. What day is it? Tuesday or Wednesday? May 26th? I got a few days outside. Right? I'm just weather conditioning myself here before I start. And I'm going to start with fertile myrtle. Right? And that whole area back there. And I'm going to clean out the little playhouse and start spraying it down and getting it ready for little Alea May and Andre and Amari, right? And I'm going to get into my shed and within a week or two pull out some stuff. There's a whole bunch of teddy bears in there for non-profit stuff. So, you know, do little events and stuff, right? But now this lot is still empty, but it's just a matter of time. I'll show you in a minute. It's just a matter of time before they tear everything down and build one of those things to which everybody in 20 years from now that live in these buildings with their stack and pack buildings and their multi-family homes with anywhere from, we'll say, 8 to 25 people in them, have no food source because everything was cut down. There's a pear tree over there that Andre and I can't get to because of this. They're trying to keep out the homeless people, that's why. Right? Otherwise they camp in there. But we know this is all going to be torn down and one of those buildings are going to be built and nobody's going to have anything to eat. Right? There's a horse chestnut tree over there. There's a maple, an actual maple tree over there. And then we've got a pear tree. And then we've got various acorn trees. But I've never seen a white oak in there, so. Right? Andre and I, we think, oh look, there's a cute little purse. I wonder what's in that. That looks so cute. What is that? What's wrong with it? It's kind of broken. It's kind of cute though. You can fix that. I can fix that. I'm going to fix that. I'm going to show you. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe not. Do you see? Too much. Right? As if I have time. Anyway. Andre and I, we think old man Miser moved out. He either sold his house and moved on, or he was medically kidnapped and forced to sell his house and is locked away like a dirty secret in terms of a old folks home that nobody can go visit and see him, or he died. But we honestly do think he's gone because all his stuff is gone. Right? So anyway, I'm just getting ready to go outside in the back. Right? I'm not uploading this now, obviously. Right? Just staying in the loop, I guess. Right? I'll show you when I get to the back what I'm going to be tackling. I'm just going to work out there all day, people. It's a little breezy, but once you start working, moving around, if you notice, I'm not wearing my glasses outside because my eyes are just going too whacked. So I'm finding I'm having to not wear them in order to be able to function in the daylight. This is where I buy my little plants. This Korean family here. They're so nice. Right. What can I buy today? Oh, I need a couple of little flowers for a flower pot in the front. Maybe I should do that in memory of Ciera. Ciera was the one that took care of this stuff. The only problem with Ciera was because of her mental state and just the whole 9 yards around her living conditions. She deteriorated so much, people, that she literally would raid other people's gardens and flower beds and come home with boxes of fucking flowers that she dug up from somewhere. And I'm like, don't do that, right? You know, I don't want them. And, you know, I'm giving my landlady these boxes of flowers because, you know, I don't want them, right? As she's running around ripping out my stuff from my pots and putting in her stuff. And I come out in the morning or whatever and all my shit's down on the ground, you know, killing my this and killing my that, as she's importing things that she found around the neighborhood, wherever she may have found them. Oh, it's a sad situation, people. Should never have happened. So I think in terms of, in memory of my daughter and her good intentions, and she really was very innocent, people. That was the problem. She was innocent. She was exploited in the community. She had handlers, in terms of, you know, handlers who, this is nice, who just wanted to use and abuse her. I know exactly where I'm going to put this, because I look out my front door every day. When we get home, I'll show you. And the first thing I think of is Ciera. There are no flowers. So I'm going to buy that today. This is why he likes me. I'm a big spender. Okay, people, change of plans. Alright, we're getting in here and we're cutting down the marrow plant because there's people who have gathered that would benefit from that fresh food. So before they disperse, I'm cutting it down and I'm giving it to Reverend Tan. That's Pastor Granny's friend. He does outreach to Thailand, people. I said, all right, we're going to start bringing in some of those big Japanese drums. And boom, 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 boom. Okay, so this is one happy plant. We got a whole bunch of people that want to drink it. And what's so special about this plant, people, is it's good for the lungs. Okay? Remember the Korean people, that elderly couple in their 90s running around chasing after dump trucks with rolling tires to the truck. Okay? They were so strong. Okay? And like they were in their 90s. I'm serious. So anyway, that's how I know that this plant is good for the lungs. And it turns out Pastor Granny was so happy to have these things. Okay? Right? She knows lots of people who love to eat this stuff. And she also knows about this plant. So everything that I'm giving away today is being given to somebody else. So what a great way to start my day, is giving away a whole bunch of food in cold weather. As if, who would think something would be growing in cold weather? Now, I'm gonna have to take a detour from the back. Right, I'm going to just work in here. That was Reverend Tan. He came by and picked up what I harvest so far. He's gonna come back in a few hours, so I'm gonna focus for the next hour or two on cutting this all back, because it's gonna grow by the end of summer anyway, right? It will get a second growth. And if it can give people some really delicious tea, that, you know, a comforting tea that they know has healing properties with, you know, congestion in their lungs or whatever it may be, then, you know, that just makes my day, right? You know what I'm saying? So we got to thank our Jeep, the owner of this house, for allowing me to do this. Okay? Give credit where credit is due. And to the fellas that, you know, live in this house and basically just ignore me and let me do what I want to do out here. So I don't know how much I'm going to be able to, I mean, I envision this yard full of flowers, full of vegetables and fruit, but there's only so many hours in a day, and we're going to be grateful for what we are getting today. And after I cut these down, I'm going to pull up this tarp. I'm going to start just turning over the soil, and then I'm going to go into the greenhouse because some of the seeds sprouted, some of them didn't. there is a batch of bush beans that busted through, so I'm gonna run some bush beans in here. But before I do that, I just want to tidy it up and trim everything down and harvest the food that can be harvested, right? Like even that little batch, those are little baby tender ones, right? Like I will get to that. That was the last patch that I didn't get in the box. The box was full, completely full, right? So very, very happy to receive that. Now, I'll show you how this works. Well, let me finish my smoke first, and then I'll bring the camera in and I'll show you. Hold on. Okay, you see that hole? Now, I take my butt and I get up in here. Where's my clippers? I'm gonna try, oh, hold on, let me get these clippers. Either clippers are gonna work or a knife is gonna work. And then I get right into the middle of the plant. You see? And I start going in and start cutting down and packing. It smells like this plant. Alright? It's not a bad tea to drink. You just have to discipline yourself to do it. And unfortunately, I'm addicted to sugar. Okay? I drink coffee and tea just for the sugar. But when I drink this, I drink it straight. So I haven't quite crossed over that threshold yet, but it is a beautiful plant, and it grows nicely. You can see, and there's that famous morning glory. Okay, so I got another big box of the tea, right? And I can't get all stressed out with my day. Why are we not surprised? Mickey the gardener cat. Anyway, like I said, I got beans that need to go in the ground. So I can't stress out. I'm obviously having panic attacks because there's a part of me that feels like I should be in the back cutting grass and sweeping up pine needles and cutting back fertile myrtle, which I can do in the next day or two or whatever, right? It doesn't matter. Because this, you know, so I'm going to take, I didn't bring very much over with me, but anyway, I'm just going to start, really, you need to dig this stuff up, and then it grows back as fast as you dig it up. But I think I'm going to plant my beans right here. We want to give them as much light as we can, right? For now. That's what I'm going to focus on. Alright, and then there's, look at this morning glory. It's like all over. And then of course I'll be grabbing, pulling it before it really gets twisted up. Right? See? The big bucks. And I'm going to cut myself some more. And I'm going to try and dehydrate them dry them, not even dehydrate, but dry them differently. I might even try and dehydrate them. I don't know, hanging them upside down, cutting them down in fall, you know, when they're flowering and stuff. I mean, it's okay, but I'm going to try this for myself with no flowers on them, and I'm going to try and dry them in a different manner, maybe two different, one in the dehydrator and one spread out versus hanging upside down, right? Okay, so nothing like getting on it. Okay, so I dug that all out. It wasn't as bad as if the tarp wouldn't have been on it, people. Okay, I mean, I did get a fair amount of junk out of it, okay? And there's still that little piece underneath there, plus there's over there, right, by the rhubarb. We got potatoes growing. I put a little bit of hay in there. Got to get some more. Like, the weeds are really entwined into the dirt, and they get really tight. And we know that we've got this issue with morning glory and this other, I don't know what it is, but whatever. I'll work on this, and then I'm going to plant the flowers, and that's going to be it for the day. I'm going to go get the beans now. These are pole beans that I'm putting here. Not pole beans, bush beans. I'm just going to put a thing of bush beans. Now, it's all going to be bush beans for the most part. Remember I said I want to dehydrate. dehydrating. Okay, after you dehydrate your food, you save 85% of its nutrients or more. 85%, people. Okay, dehydrating, maybe outside of freeze drying, which you need a special kind of machine for that, but or whatever, right? And it's like a $3,000 machine. And from what I'm learning with dehydrated food, as long as the container is sealed and it's in a cool, dark place, right, covered up out of the daylight for the most part. Can you hear all that booming and banging, beeping and beeping? I wake up with my ears just fucking screaming. My head is just like reeling, right? But besides that point, yeah, 85% it retains. So those beans that I dehydrated, 10 years ago, are probably still at 75, 85% in terms of nutrients, okay? For the simple fact is they were never opened and they're perfectly fine. So these beans here, I am definitely dehydrating those ones. I'll have more than likely other beans growing between the 2 yards, but the thing is, the weather has been so bad. For whatever reason, a lot of seeds didn't catch, so I'm going to start another cycle of seeds, right? Because it might end up just being a late summer, or it's going to be because of geoengineering, weather modification. Who knows, right? But I am going to start another batch of seeds. I still have to plant those tomatoes that I bought, so. But right now I'm going to go to the greenhouse and I'm going to grab the beans. I'll bring the camera. I'll show you what's growing in there, because they're quite long now. So hopefully no bugs will get to them in terms of slugs and stuff like that. See how long that takes. Reverend Tan is coming back for that tea. I didn't cut it all down. I can't spend my whole day on it. So we'll do another batch next week or something, right? And they can have that that lemongrass that's sitting there before it goes to bloom. So I'll give him the lemongrass if he wants it. And that's easy enough to cut with a knife. Just throw it in the box and away you go. And then that will spring back. So I want to go get those beans. I got to find a little 3-hook gardening tool just to scoop up on a few miscellaneous roots I missed in there. And a little shovel to level everything out and dig my holes. And oh yes, I know what I want to do first. I gotta go and get some of that dirt that I was digging out of the pond and just throw a few buckets in there and then mix it in, because I don't know about this dirt. I don't know what they did with these Koreans did with this dirt, but it's weird dirt. So I wanted a little more dirty. I want my dirt more dirty. Okay, so I'm gonna go get some of this other dirt that I don't need where it is. And I don't know what to do with it, but I think it will do very well in here, just to give it that dirt, something more for the roots to, right, draw on and do what roots like to do, right? So anyway, I'll be back. Okay, so I'm going to upload this video, right? I mean, obviously, it's going to get too long if I keep working for the next few days, which I will, 1 to 2 days anyway. So we got 4 rows of bush beans so far. Because this thing isn't fenced off, I'm going to have to put this in between the rows for now. And maybe find some sticks. Right? Try and keep the... I have to find some sticks or something. Right? To keep the... mainly the raccoons. Alright. Just anything from crawling, right? Get some pokey sticks. I don't have, like I said, I don't have a fence here, so it's a heat score when it comes to animals trampling through it, right? So anyway, hold on. I got this noisy crow. Yeah, you're just a noisy crow. Okay, people. Matilda, you're getting me into trouble. Yeah, you are. People don't understand you. No. And Tisha been running around. Oh, raccoon, raccoon. And I'm like, look at Matilda. She's like a dog, people. You want a belly rub? Is that what it is? Are you looking for a belly rub? I swear. Okay. So anyway, I've had raccoons, people, ever since I moved into this property. This is why I built everything, was to control raccoons and their latrines versus having it all over my yard with a bunch of morning glory and weeds and raccoon poop, right? I built a greenhouse. Then I did that over there. Oops, sorry, wandering eye. You know, that little AKA hen house, seedling room, whatever it is, and it's probably raccoon babies in there, right? Look at that beautiful greenhouse, people. Like, come on. And then we had Mr. Lace's pen, and now that's turning into a little greenhouse. I got a wood shed. I have a shed right here. Look at her. Matilda. I was working out in the front, people, and she came up, and she likes to try and touch my feet, right? Like, because she's skittish, I get a little skittish, but I know, like, she touches my feet. She was doing that last year, right? It's like a dog. What does a dog do? A dog uses either its paws to touch you, right? Or their nose, right? Well, she's no different. Raccoons, they like to use their hands, right? So, of course, they're going to touch with their hands, right? Because they're always with their hands. So, that's her way of telling me she wants food. She has food in the front, but I'm going to bring her some, and I'm going to put it back here. Anyway, I was working in the front, okay? And, I'm next door. I'm going to put this video up because it's long. I mean, I don't want a 2-hour video. So anyway, I was now in my yard washing dandelion roots and all this stuff and planting those flowers that I bought in memory of Ciera today, right? And I turn around and there's Matilda, right next to me, reaching out to touch me to let me know, hi, I'm here, I'm hungry, right? Oh my God. So, okay. But, she's kind of determined, right? She wants food. So she's following me around, right? And she's getting close and stuff. And I'm like, Matilda, stop. Go away. Just move, Matilda. And my son hollers out, shut up. Like, it's like, what the fuck, man? I was outside for 8 hours today. Basically working in the neighbor's yard, okay? Because, I'm planting food, and I gave away food today, people. Like, seriously. It's freezing freaking cold out here. The weather is miserable. And I actually gave away the marrow, which a lot of people like, right? I gave away so cold outside. See, when she's out here like this, I don't like to close the door on her. Right? Because, I know what she wants. She just wants to be close. And, she's lonely, right? And she's getting old, eh? That's what it is, people. She's not young anymore, right? She's like getting an old dog, right? She's been around for years. Hold on a minute. Matilda. My baby Matilda. Oh, I love you. Andre loves you. Yeah. Marcane normally loves you, but he just gets crabby sometimes, right? So hold on a minute. Okay, I gotta warm up. But I left the door open, right? The thing about Matilda, I'm gonna talk about Matilda here for a bit because, people, like, I don't get it. Like, are my kids gonna miss me when I'm gone? I'm really, really wondering. Because, as it is, you think they would fucking have learned how fast it is. 1 minute you're here, next minute you're gone. poof, you're gone and nothing moves except you. Like, what are they thinking when they are abrasive to me? Rude, snitty, try and put their fucking thumbs on me. Like, I'm serious. I can't even... Oh my God, hold on. Okay, that was Tisha. Amari is not wanting to eat. She all worried. I told her, I said, don't worry. She's watching him for me so I can just work. That's how I ended up outside today for 8 hours. And I'm back outside again tomorrow, but she'll more than likely will probably bring him back if he continues on with whatever he's doing. The thing about Amari is, I'll talk about Matilda in a minute, okay? What happened was, okay, children like Amari, right, with their gagging or whatever, you know, they have the potential of puking and then breathing in whatever it is that they're puking out. Amari doesn't do that. Amari will gag on food. Once he gets used to the texture or whatever, then he's okay. But it's just getting him going, right? Usually, right? Anyway, every now and then, like, you have to burp him. He can't. You have, like, I sit him up. One day I'll do a little video. I'll show you, right? I sit him up after he eats or has a bottle or whatever, namely bottles and stuff, right? I have to literally sit him up on my lap, and then I sit myself up straight. You can see my shoulders, right? So that, right, as straight as possible, and then I kind of bring him close to me with his back pressing into my, I guess you could say, my rib cage and my belly, right? So that, because his back is curved, right? His back is like this, okay? Whatever. It just is what it is, people. So I sit him up really straight, and I hold him, and then I can usually tell if he has a burp in his tummy by placing him up against my belly and this part of my rib cage right in here. Right, I place him right in here, right, and then I hold him and I straighten myself up so he's nice and straight. And I can usually tell when he has a burp, big or small. And that's how I burp him, because that's the best way to burp Amari. Obviously, I'm in a dilemma. Like, I'm like, Amari, how am I going to burp you when you get, like, big? Right? But he's not that big yet, you know? He's still cute and cuddly, and, you know, right? So, but the thing is, if you miss those burps, right, there's the potential of laying him down, coming back later, and finding that he puked up the milk. And I'm thinking it's because of the burp, right? I've had that happen to me twice with Amari. Just twice. So he did that a couple of days ago, 2 days ago. I still have to, as a matter of fact, I need to do that now that I'm inside. I have to wash everything, right? And more than likely it was because I didn't burp him good enough, right, when I moved him. And then the other thing I'm thinking too, because he's getting stronger now, right, you know, he's pulling these pillows. So I've decided that I'm going to sew something on them and then strap them onto the rail so that he can't grab them and pull them and then have them on his face or whatever, right? as a safety measure, right, to whatever. But even still, if he's got a burp in there and, you know, he burps it out in a uncomfortable position, very well puke it out, right? So I said to Tisha, I'm like, okay, well, before you took him from me, I made sure he was eating, because, you know, like, what, the stomach flu? He's only had the stomach flu once in his life, people, and he's 3.5 years old. Okay, so that's pretty good, and that was only less than 24 hours. That happens, right? That, okay. Anyway, I said, okay, because he's not eating for her. He doesn't want to eat. And I'm like, okay, but is he drinking his bottles, his little Pediasures and stuff? And she goes, yeah, but he didn't want the milk. I said, well, he doesn't necessarily like milk, quote unquote, as he likes his little Pediasures, right? His little kid essentials. He likes those things, right? And they were subscribed from the dietitian that I work with, right? I said, okay, is he eating that? Is he drinking that? And she says, yeah. I said, so he's not puking? She says, no. Okay, well, all right. Does he have a fever? No, he doesn't. Okay, right? Like, you know, what's his temperament? Oh, he's playing, you know, he's having, you know, blah, he's laughing. I'm, okay, well, then, does he have a fever? No. Okay, so he doesn't have a fever. He's not throwing up. Right? You know, he's obviously happy because he's laughing. He just doesn't want to eat, right? So I said to her, well, maybe he's acting strange because that's what kids can do. You know, right? Well, but he's been here before and he was eating this and eating that and it wasn't a problem then, but now he doesn't want to eat. And I'm like, yeah, but, you know, like, you know, he's coming into, you know, like his personality is changing, right? You know what I mean? And not only that, but sometimes he even gets cocky with me, right? You know, he's just like a little game with him. It's like a game, right? And you have to start off with the little bite first, just a little taste, right? To give him, you know, he wants to taste it before you put it in his mouth. And then, you know, he's tasting and then, you know, he's deciding whether he likes it or not. And, you know, and this and that, and this is where these little applesauces always seem to just kind of like, we went through that with just a video, what, two, three videos just recently, right, where I went with the egg, with the cheese, and whatever, and then I had to come back and just give him just the 1 tablespoon of the applesauce, and once that started and mixing it was good to go, right? He ate the whole thing, so, you know, what is he thinking, right? And, so anyway. Yeah, you gotta just, I told her, just, whatever you do, just make sure you burp, 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 burp. Always burp. Burping is one of the biggest issues in terms of, I think he's always gonna need help with burping, people. Right? I try and sit him up on his own, right, for that burp to come up. I think they kind of work, you know, doing it like that. But like I said, I can take him, press him up against my belly area, right in between my breastbone there, hold him, straighten myself up so his back is nice and straight. And I can usually feel the burp inside. And then, of course, it takes 5 to 10 minutes to burp him or so, right? I mean, and I told her he won't eat if he's got a burp. That I know. This is why I want to write a little book on how to look after Amari, right? With the little side dishes written into it and everything, like with his favorite foods and that type of thing, right? So that, you know, when I'm gone, basically, because I'm the one that basically looks after him all the time, right? I mean, Tisha does help me, but I'm with him probably a good 85-90% of the time, really. Right, and that's another thing. That's why I said maybe he's acting strange, because when I was on the phone, I said, well, let me talk to Amari, and apparently I was on speakerphone, and I'm like, Amari, you know, blah, blah, blah. And apparently he started laughing and he looking around, right? So, you know, like I said, maybe he's just acting strange in terms of, you know, but he loves me, she says. He loves me. And I'm like, well, yeah, of course he loves you, right? But, you know, he's growing, right? You know, right? Children, you know, like, you know, they get strange, right? Right? You know, he's not ready to be that independent yet, right? Like, even when I give him a bath, at one point, I don't know why he got scared of the bath, but, you know, Tisha gave him a bath, and then after that, it was like back to the way it was before, when he was scared, right? You know, in terms of the water, you know, the echoing of the water. And so, you know, when I give him a bath, you know, I have to talk him through it, people. Like, okay, you know, it's you know, right? It's splash, 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 splash. And then he goes splash, splash with his little hand. Right? Splash, just water, splash, splash, splash. And then he'll go, right? And then it won't be long before he's, right? But, you know, he wants up. So I'm up, right? So I immediately put him up, right? And I'm trying to familiarize him with the shower. So after the bath, I give him, you know, right? Because if I go too fast and I rush it, right, his little heart just starts beating, like he's like petrified, right? But if I go in slow and give him time to, you know, right, and relax, and, you know, and I talk calmly, and, right, I give him time just, right, he's always been sensitive, people, always. Always. So it's kind of like, it's the brain, people, right? So I tell Tisha I'm the only one that can give him a bath, because if he gets that phobia and it doesn't leave him, you won't get him in a bath or a shower when he's bigger and he's getting stronger, okay? I can get him in there and get him to relax and actually play. And, you know, the last bath I gave him, he let me wash his hair, didn't fuss with me, nothing. And then I turn him the other way, right? And then I get him familiarized with the shower, right? I have a hand one, right? I turn on the shower, and I mean, he hears it, you know, and he hates vacuum cleaners. If he was in the living room and I was in the kitchen, like in this area, starting to vacuum, he'd start screaming and crying, okay? I don't know what it is about vacuum cleaners, but he can't stand them, okay? It's been like that ever since he's been born. Take him outside with those big-ass trucks going back, grinding their cement, rumbling their motors, and he laughs and thinks it's funny, okay? So, you know, it is what it is, right? So anyway, turn on his shower head, you know, and I just lightly, right, just to get him used to it. It's different in a bathtub with a shower head than it is outside. Again, he's in his chair, I'm spraying water, the water is, right, he's getting wet, and he's laughing and kicking his feet, and he's having a great time. Do that in a shower, like in a bathroom, in a bathtub, for whatever reason, you know. And you know, that's the thing. When Amari was being passed around back and forth with those visits, those people were taking him into a bathtub. Okay? I've seen the picture of it. And I'm not saying that's what created the phobia. Okay? I'm just saying that, you know, children like, I got what, routine, right? You know, Amari is very comfortable with his surroundings in terms of routine, right? You know what I mean? And this is what I told Tisha, you know, maybe he's just acting strange right now. But he's been kind of like playing with me a little bit too, right? In terms of, here's your food, and he's like, and I'm like, okay, right? So, and then once he starts eating, you know, at some point he'll stop eating because, you know, he's hoarding it in the top of his mouth, and, you know, so it's like you have to have patience. That's what it is, people. You have to have a lot of patience for Amari. Right? I can't imagine what it's going to be like for him when I'm gone. Because I have a lot of patience with him. A lot. That's why I'm patient with him, so that I'm really hoping that as he grows, his brain will mature and he won't need that patience as much when he's older. Right? Tammy works with Tammy. Hi, Tammy. We talked on the phone, and has worked with children with cerebral palsy, and she says they're like developmentally delayed, right? Not only in their motor skills, right? I mean, some of them are completely uncoordinated, but besides that point, you know, developmentally delayed also means, you know, emotional development and that kind of thing, right? Amari is, I guess you could say, behind. But then Amari also knows that he's very vulnerable, people. He knows it. He knows it. I know he knows it. Because how I know it, if I'm carrying him, right? You know, he makes sure that he doesn't wiggle around too much and stuff like that. Oh, sometimes he'll start kicking his legs because the way I'm carrying him, he thinks it's fun. In the old days when he was little, it wasn't a big deal. Now that he's bigger, I like, it's, no, Mari, you can't do that no more. You're getting too big. You're going to make Nana fall, right? So he stops people. He listens to me because he knows that he can't get from point A to point B by himself. So if he wiggles around too much, right? It's like he instinctively knows it potentially could cause a problem. So he behaves himself. This is what I mean. Right? He's intuitive. Right? He thinks. I know he thinks. He communicates with me. Right? Just like when we're in the bathtub. Like, we're okay, Amari. It's water. Splash, splash, taking a bath. Once, you know, he's okay, he feels safe, he's splash, right? And then, before you know it, he's kicking. But if he's laying back and he wants up, he goes, ah, and I go up and I bring him up, people. I respond to his request. Right? So that he learns that he has control of his own life, even though technically he doesn't. He's at the mercy of whoever is fucking handling him. Okay? And it doesn't take much to instill fear into him, because he used to jump all the time when he was a baby. Not so much anymore, right? But, you know. So anyway, you gotta have that heart of steel, okay? When you have a disabled child, seriously, I think that is the biggest lesson that I'm learning through this whole experience. You have to have a heart of steel, and not in a bad way, but in a good way, in order to see through, you know what I mean? Not abandon, right? I think people abandon situations like this because they just don't have that heart of steel to be able to face what could happen, like in terms of the gagging or the burping, whatever it is, right? Because they are developmentally delayed, and it takes a little time for them to catch up and feel comfortable with whatever it is that they're being, exposed to, right? And if it's frightening for them, then, depending on what it is, you either never expose them to it again, or, like the vacuum, I avoid the vacuum around Amari. I really do. Right? Or if it's like a bath situation, well, then you got to take the time, people. Doesn't matter if it takes 2 years, 3 years, until they outgrow, I don't want to call it a phobia, but their fear of whatever it is that's frightening to them, in order for them to be able to cope with it when they're older, right? Because, they're manhandled and they know it, right? They don't get to go into the bathtub by themselves. Somebody takes them to the bathtub and does, gives them a bath, right? So, that's how would you feel if that was like for you all the time, and, and you're trying to say something, but they can't understand or hear you, or, so I take a lot of time with Amari. Even when he's not wanting to, I guess you can say, eat for me right away. I told that to Tisha. Like, sometimes he gets funny, right? You got to give him little tastes, and then you got to come back 5 minutes later and give him another little taste. Children, as they grow, right? As they grow, they get, they get, I don't know, they just get their own ideas about things, and so I told her, I said, don't worry about it. Just give him his drinks. He likes those, right? As long as he's not puking, as long as he doesn't have a fever, right? As long as he's not real cranky, and that, he's fine, right? So, but of course, he did throw up. So, I'm like, the one thing that I might be concerned about is, did he breathe in that milk that he threw up into his lungs? Right? There's that heart of steel again. Right? Because they can drown with that. That's like going swimming, breathing in water as you're swimming in a swimming pool, go home, and then actually drown in your sleep. Right? Amari knows that water has the potential to cause harm, right? Intuitively, people, instinctively. Okay, this is what I mean. He thinks, right? But it's also a fun thing and a good thing. So, I have to go that extra mile for him. So I don't know. I just so worry what it's going to be like for him when I'm gone, people. I don't know. Because he's, he requires a lot of attention. A lot of attention. So I'm hoping that, as he gets older, right, he'll get more grounded with whatever, right? One day at a time. I take it one day at a time. So, now, on to Matilda. I bet you she's still in her spot, people. Okay. Like I said, I've had raccoons ever since I moved into this house. I've had raccoon latrines in this yard ever since I've moved into this house. I built structures in this yard just to control that issue. And I've adapted over the years, and for whatever reason, Matilda has taken me under her wing. Okay, because this is like her going on her 4th year or something. You can tell just with her behavior, because she's tired, she's getting old, and she's just like a mature dog. She acts like a dog, people. I'm telling you. I was out in the front, I was doing those flowers, and I turned around, and there she was, like right beside me. And I'm like, oh, okay, Matilda. But she trying to reach out to me, right? She's telling me she wants her food, people. But of course, everybody's being skittish, and just so I'm like, oh, right? And then, I said, Matilda, stop, because she was being really pesty and just really wanted that food. And then my son, oh, shut up. And I'm like, I'm just trying to like shoo her away. I don't want her coming in the house, right? Because she'll follow me. If I come in the house, she'll follow me to the food bucket to show me she wants food as she's trying to tell me over there, Pa. And it just crashed my day, people. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I don't understand people. I just don't get it. And why are people so mean? Like, I don't ever want to come back on this planet after I'm gone. To heck with reincarnation. I'm serious. I have probably been reincarnated. I know way too much shit to not be reincarnated. Okay, in terms of just whatever it is that I do. You think I went to school for it? Yeah, okay. But I don't want to come back because people are just, on average, getting worse. They're just mean. I'm tired of the meanness in the world. You know, Matilda doesn't hurt anybody, seriously. And, you know, it's not her fault that she's being forced out of her environment. There's no food for these animals out here, people. She knows the yard is safe, okay? She knows, right? She runs around during the day, right? I went to go get the Matilda the food. I have people standing out on the road, a family with a bunch of kids laughing and, oh, raccoon. I'm like, people are amazed that I have a raccoon. Seriously. They want a raccoon for themselves. Right? They're like, oh, you got a raccoon on your porch. Oh, you got a raccoon by your door. Oh, there's a raccoon in your yard. And I'm like, yeah, that's Matilda. Oh, wow, that's so cool. And they're laughing and they're like giggling over Matilda. Right? You know what I'm saying? I feed Matilda in the front and she runs in the back and lays down in her spot like as if she's a dog. And she won't come into the house now, people, because her food is outside. Right? The only reason she comes in the house is because she wants food. She lets you know, right? That she can get food. And once she's out with the food, she'll just, I bet you if I take this camera, she's probably still there. I've seen that raccoon lay on that shed until like 10:30 at night, okay? Not move. I mean, you've seen the way she responded when I said, oh, Matilda, and she, that's what dogs do. Looking up with her little doggy face. You seen it. Right? Tisha all freaked out, though. Raccoon. And I'm like, yeah, Tisha, come on. It's not like you don't know, right? How many years have I been in this house for? Oh. I'm like, oh. As my son's getting mad at me because I'm saying, Matilda, go. Right? Because I'm trying not to encourage. But then on the other hand, I'm not a selfish human being, people. I'm not abusive to animals. I actually care about their well-being, okay? You know? I have empathy for them. Empathy, real empathy. Right? I suffer like they suffer, okay? And it just breaks my heart that there's just so many people out there that are just straight up freaking rude. Not to say that my son is rude with Matilda, because he kind of likes Matilda too, but at the end of the day, you know, because if I was doing something else out there, saying something, he'd, shut. What? I've been next door working in the yard all fucking day long. I come into my yard, right? I happen to say something for 5 measly minutes, and you're screaming at me to shut up. Like, what the fuck? What you gonna do when I'm gone? Seriously. You say good riddance? I don't have to tell you to shut up anymore? Doesn't take much to trigger me off, okay? And ruin my day. I put a lot of effort in this house. And I really don't get no love for it, people. Except for maybe from Matilda. Seriously. Matilda loves me. So anyway, if you notice, I have these communications in a what is it called? I have them with Amari, and I have them with a raccoon. Okay, telepathy. I have telepathy with Amari, and I have telepathy. Right? You know, that's brain to brain, talking to each other without talking. Okay. Telepathy. I have it with Matilda, and I have it with Amari. Anyway, I'm going to end this video. I wasn't going to put up a video. I was supposed to be in the back working with Fertile Myrtle. Right? That will be tomorrow. Amari will probably come home early, unless, of course, I told Tisha, I said, do you have one of those apple sauces? She says, yeah, apple raspberry. I said, okay, well, you know, this is what you do. So we'll see, right? If he's not really wanting to eat tomorrow, then he needs to come home, because he'll eat for me. Which tells me he's being strange. Which is okay, because eventually, more than likely, he'll outgrow it as he matures. He's just a little late with his development with those kind of issues, because children do that sometimes. This is what I told Tisha. Oh, but he loves me. I said, well, of course he does. Right? But he's like in a new environment, right? You know, it's not familiar. Even though he's fun and having fun, you know, it's not routine. And Amari likes his comfort zone, I guess you can say. His comfort zone. Right? So, we just have to give him more time to mature. And hopefully he'll gain a little more confidence for whatever it is, right? In terms of, I don't know. So, let's go see if Matilda's still there, and then we're going to end this video. Okay. Hold on a minute. Yeah. 8 o'clock at night. There's Matilda. Just holding down the fort. Aren't you just holding down the fort? Huh? Do you hear me talking? What's going on? What's going on? Huh? Did you have those babies yet? I think so. I think you just hang out here because you don't like roaming the neighborhood, because you just know it's not safe anymore. She says, I don't want to get trapped in a trap. Maybe quite possibly be tortured and murdered. Or relocated to a place that I'd never see my babies again. I'm not a stupid raccoon, so I just stay close to home. Right? I'm serious, people. We need a pet program. I don't know. Oh, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about Pastor Tan. And, Reverend Tan. And then we've got Pastor Granny. Right? Because they want to help me with the foundation. Alright? So, we're going to talk about that. What are you doing? Are you in labor? What's going on? Oh, you're yawning. She's yawning. See? She won't move, people. She'll stay here until dark. And then she wanders off wherever she goes. Right? And then she comes out. And then when she comes out the next day, if the doors are open, which, you know, it's summertime, right? Oh, well, not summer, but, you know, doors are open. She just comes in. She goes straight for food in terms of the buckets. She tries to pull out the buckets, the cat food bucket, right? And, you see, I gave her food down there, too. She's not even really that hungry, because she had some in the front. But she'll nibble on it. right? It's not what she wants. She doesn't want the food. She wants the company. But she won't come in the house for company. She only comes in the house for food. Or if I'm outside and she sees me, she will actually come to me now and try and touch my foot and will follow me until I give her food. Okay? And then after she gets her food, this is what she does. She just comes right back here. And she'll just stay. Okay, so I'm going to finish this now. I'm just going to talk a little bit more about Matilda. So what happens is, after she has her babies and they come out, right? Those babies, they basically live in my yard for almost a year, people. They really... I go through this every year. Go into my videos, okay? Right? And she just monitors them. Right? She's a very good mother. She really keeps a good eye on them. And then, within that year, towards the end of it, or whatever, however long, right? I guess they disperse. Because it's Matilda. I mean, come on, let's face it. That's Matilda. Alright? She keeps other raccoons away. This is what I tell Tisha. Like, don't underestimate Matilda. Right? I don't have to worry too much about other raccoons coming into the yard. Right? Because it's her turf. Right? And if another one comes into the yard, trust me, she will put that one into check. Okay? I've seen that happen before. And, but outside of that, we're going to see babies in the next little while, right? And she'll stick real close to home with those babies. They'll roam the yard. They won't stray too far. Obviously, they go back to their den. And then eventually, they move on. But Matilda never does. She might go away for a little while, get knocked up, and then come back home. That's what she did. There was about a period of about a month and a half, and I had no raccoons, didn't see nothing, didn't hear nothing, and then all of a sudden, there she was, trying to touch my foot. And now she just comes right up to me, people, like I was in the front, like I said, she just comes right up to me, and she's going like this, like she's coming close now, eh? And because she's skittish, I'm skittish. I just need to calm down and relax. And that's only because I'm getting flack, right? Oh, raccoon, yeah, oh, shut up. But we know Matilda, and Matilda's been around forever. Nothing I can do about that outside of relocating the raccoon. And even then, one will move out and another one will move in. Because there's always been raccoons. All right. So, with that said, Pastor Granny, I guess she's been talking about me. A little bit anyway. Because I told her I work on a foundation. Anyway, I met Reverend Tan. They're a Christian-based church worldwide. Located in Thailand. Places like that. And they do missionary work. Right? And I said, well, that's good. Because that works for me. Because, goes with the trademark, right? That's what Uncle John wanted to do. That's how that got in there. That was something he wanted. So I wrote it in for him, people. Going to countries where people need help. Right? I told Reverend Tan, well, if you're going to Thailand and helping the children in Thailand, well, then we need to bring in some big drums, those Japanese drums, the big ones, and they just, right, really get a movement going. He goes, yes, you do Zoom with the leaders. I said, leaders, who am I doing Zoom with the leaders? He goes, with the leaders in Thailand. And I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know how to do Zoom, but Tisha does. So, when we get to that point, for sure, I told him I'm networking with the Americans in the United States. So he'll network with Cambodia and Thailand and places like that. And I'll continue to network with my friends in the United States. And maybe we just might make it work, people. And if we can start making it work, then you know I'm going to build in a pet program for the raccoons in the neighborhood, right? And other at-risk wildlife, okay? Because they need human assistance in order to be able to have peace and liberty in their own lives without, you know, fear of harm and injury in terms of a raccoon, right? That's somewhat domesticated out of survival. Domesticated out of survival, and because they can think. They have the intelligence of a 3-year-old at maturity, but I think Matilda is beyond a 3-year-old child, okay? Because she's talking to me through that telepathy. She's talking to me, right? She's like, calm down, relax. I'm just letting you know I want food. Go get it for me now, because I'm afraid you won't give it to me later. And then once she gets it, she calms down, and she goes to her post, and she just acts like a dog. Seriously. She won't even try to come in tonight. Right? Nope. But if she's on the prowl for food and she wants to be fed, then yeah, she'll come in and she'll let you know that she wants it. Or her new thing is, if she sees me working in the yard, she will actually come up to me and let me know that she wants it. Because she thinks. So maybe she'll get a little luck with Pastor Granny and Reverend Tan. I gave the marrow today for food source. That tea that's good for the lungs and the chest. And lemon balm. So I'm feeling pretty good. See, I was in the weeds. Right? I'm feeding people. Right? Gotta feel pretty good about that. That's it now. See? It's getting dark. Ah, you were down there snacking on that food. Looks like that bowl is a little more empty, but look there. See? It's getting dark. She's not going anywhere, people. That's as far as she goes. Unless, of course, she's trying to tell you she wants food. Right?